here from Rockstar HQ, and I am joined today by the lovely Suzanne Mountain. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Emma.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good. It's Monday. Hooray!
Looks like the sun's shining where you are. Is it a nice day?
It's trying. Washing is out. That's a good sign. You might notice behind me from my photo this morning, it has gone, all that washing. I had to fight my way through to get into my office this morning. It's now outside.
Well, it's sunshine and showers here. It's not putting washing out weather, because it would be that emergency.
Yeah, that's what I was doing yesterday. That was yesterday. Out, in, and I'll sort of put it on the dryer.
So, I have asked you to come join us today because your specialist subject is navigating change and changing your reality, particularly for people who are at that midlife stage where they go, surely there's more to life than this? Surely? And how did you get, what's your journey path like to getting to this being your area of expertise?
Okay, well, so it's no great secret if you look at me to see that I'm midlife, or I consider myself to be midlife. My career started off in HR, so I was the HR person who worked in a large corporate organisations, specialised mostly in sort of leadership development and soft skills training. So helping leaders become better leaders and helping people be more assertive, be more confident, communicate better, all those sorts of areas. I did that for a long period of time. Then when my family was small, I set up my first business, doing management development for organisations, but being self-employed at that stage. And I did that for around 12 years and had a bit of a midlife crisis, I would say, at that stage. So you'll pick up from that. I've been in midlife for quite a long time now. So I had a little bit of a midlife crisis, decided I did want the big career and the nice car and all the exec benefits. So went back into the organisation or into organisational life. And sort of started doing all that again. Loathed the politics. After a couple of years, really started to think, what am I doing? Why am I spending my time like this? Wasting precious years of my life. And I was training to be a coach at the time because I needed it for my work, and I'd been doing a lot of coaching for sort of 20 plus years, but I wanted a formal qualification. And actually just realised how much I loved doing it, coaching and being with people and supporting people, not just about their careers, but about everything that was going on in their lives, taking a real holistic aspect and view of their lives. And so I just decided that actually, you know what, I'm wasting too much of my time doing stuff I no longer love and where I'm not adding my best value. And there was the chance for, and so I was made redundant, which was fab. So last year I set up my business again, second time round, completely different, but doing very similar work, but helping individuals really. And yeah, most of my clients are midlife, and I don't define that in terms of a number, but it's the types of things that they're facing. So they're probably in the place that I was in a couple of years ago, a lot of them, wondering what it's all about, wondering whether they're doing the right thing, questioning themselves, is there more to life than this? Not just around their career or their business, but sometimes around what they've achieved so far. I had a client who, it was around a big birthday, and she was a bit like, I've got nothing to celebrate, even though, her lovely family wanted them to have a big party. And she was like, well, I haven't really achieved anything, and she had expectations of what it might have been like by the time she was 50. And she felt that, she hadn't reached that, which was staggering to people on the outside, but she felt unfulfilled. I think that was the thing. So So that's really how I got into what I'm doing. I just love using my skills and working one-to-one or in small groups with people and helping them have those aha moments, you know, where they suddenly have that light bulb switch on and they know what they want to do or what they need to do next, and then supporting them so they can get out there and do it, really, and get on with the next phase.
Fabulous. So you touched on there the fact that, you know, you work with people who get to that kind of point of going, you know, surely there's more going on than this. Do you find that there's a commonality that comes forward at, you know, a certain time in our lives where we reflect and get a little bit more angsty about our destiny as a whole?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because since I've started saying to people, you know, I work with people in midlife, it brings up quite a lot of reaction from a lot of people who are in midlife, like, well, what's that then? Or what number is that then? Or what do you call midlife? And I remember back when I considered myself at the time to have been very young, when I was in my mid-30s, or just a bit younger than mid-30s, and my boss referred to me as midlife at that time, and I was horrified. And she was talking, you know, 70 years and 10 as being the life expectancy. But I think it's much more about a mindset. And so for me, the people who tend to be my clients are at that stage where in their mind, something has happened and it's making them rethink what they want from their life. So it's not an age, it's not a number. It's, you know, maybe that impending redundancy, or maybe they've got to the job that they always thought they wanted, and suddenly they think, God, is this it? You know, I've got a client who always wanted to be a partner in the accountancy practice. He's got that, he's achieved that, and he's like, do I have to do this for another 20, 25 years now? Is this it, you know? And yet, you know, the first 20, 25 years of his career, that's what he's been driving towards. That was his focus. So it's not a number. It's about something that happens to you that starts triggering that reflection or self-reflection, I think, and that period of adjustment that comes out of that. And then okay, what aspects of my life is it that I want to work on, or that I want to make sure that I improve? I mean, none of us want to get to the end of our lives and look back and have those regrets, really. And midlife is a great time to sort of make those changes, because there is still time. That's the good news. There's still time to do all those things that you want. And generally, you know, we're healthier and happier and live longer. And in midlife, we have, you know, better education, better access to information, and better health than previous generations. So yeah, there's plenty of time to really do what you want.
I think that the really interesting one that came to me there from that example of the man striving for partnership, gets partnership, and then suddenly goes, now what? Yeah. It's also a little bit like children leaving home, and then now what? Yeah. Do you think it's very prevalent when there kind of comes a point where your focus isn't needed anymore, where you achieve some of the big life things that you wanted to achieve, like getting your partnership, or, you know, growing these babies into adults that are going out in the world, or getting to the end of a job and being made redundant, thinking, actually, I don't want to do this forever. Do you think it's kind of that lack of a specific focal point that really does trigger that thought process?
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's that you've given your all to that. So you've almost, you know, been in a time warp of focused on getting that job or bringing up your children or whatever, and you've given it absolutely 100%, and suddenly it's gone now, and there's that big gap almost, that space in your life that if you don't grab it and do something with it, can potentially become a very empty, lonely space. And so it's an opportunity. And, you know, I've been through the empty nest, gone, you know, 2 gone, 1 back, 2 gone, 1 back. Now 2 back at the moment.
Oh, you're looking good.
I know, hence all the washing. It does. I heard somebody talking about empty nests recently. I was watching an interview and somebody described it, this woman described it as being sacked from the best job in the world, you know, because it's the thing that you've given so much of your time to and so much of your life, and it's suddenly then if you don't feel needed in the same way, and there is just this big hole, and all that energy and love and stuff that you've poured in, you know you've done a great job, you know that they were going to leave, that was always the deal, hopefully, but suddenly it happens, and you know sometimes we're unprepared for it, and we need some time to think or rethink what are we going to do. And for some of my clients it's about then getting back in touch with who they were before they had the children and what they loved doing, and you know re-energizing some of that, thinking about, well, you know, who am I, who was I almost before I became just mummy or whatever, and then focusing on how do I bring more of that into my life to feel that fulfillment.
I think our auto response is panic. That suddenly, you know, I think, as I see it, we kind of go into this, oh my God, there must be more to it than this. We kind of get into this thought path that, you know, that everything's a bit there, and then that creates kind of that whole feeling of being a bit down and a bit sad. And do you think we can quite easily spiral on that one?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, isn't it? And so you can talk yourself down quite quickly. You know, there's lots of people start to feel that they're not needed in the same way, you know, when their children have left home, or if you're made redundant, you know, even the word redundant isn't a very nice word, is it? It has that connotations of on the waste heap, you know, and you know, you're dismissed, you're no longer valid, you're not part of it. And work and being a mother, those types of things are such big identity issues for us, you know, and when it's all going well, that's fab. But when something changes, that dynamic, that can leave us feeling really sort of rocky and not sure of what's going on in our lives. So, and of course, you know, the media puts out such negative messages as well about midlife, and there was a bit in the Times over the weekend about, I didn't read it because I just thought it would just make me spontaneously combust. It was like
full of glitter.
Yeah, of course. Well, it might not have been, it might have been nasty stuff. But yeah, it was about, you know, rules over when you're over 40, and I was just like, you know, we've spent our lives trying to get rid of the rules that we were brought up with, you know, from when we were kids, all the things that we were told we should and shouldn't do, and now they're trying to introduce new rules. It just makes me really cross, because it just makes it hard for people, you know. But apparently somebody messaged me saying, one of my clients who did read it, that one of the rules was you shouldn't have longer hair when you're over 40. You shouldn't have hair that touches your shoulders, because it makes you look witchy. I was just like, really? How outrageous is that? And that's in the Times newspaper on a Saturday morning. I mean, yeah, don't get me started on how wrong, but the media can be really, really harmful and really help, you know, if people are in a low place, it's fine for me to know about that type of thing, because I'll just go, that's complete bollocks and nobody should pay any attention to it. Yeah. But if you're in a low place and if you're not feeling good about yourself, you know, it's really harmful, I think, to see those types of things in print and believe that you're, you know, there's a whole new set of rules for you. Well, yeah, I'm not going to say it, but yeah, exactly. Make your own rules, you know, find your own way. And that's I think what I try and help a lot of my clients do, is find their own way to be a great leader, or to be an empty nester, or to be 50, or whatever it is they want to do.
Yeah, nailing it their way.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is no right or wrong.
Karen, so here's someone over 40 with shoulder length hair. Well, you rock then, Karen.
Good for you. Good for you.
Let's all be together.
Yeah, well, I didn't know this rule, Karen, so I didn't start growing my hair till I was over 40.
They say witches if it's a bad thing.
Good point. Some of the best people I know are very witchy, and they're the most lovely as well. Yes.
So if you are looking at sort of navigating, navigating change is what you're all about, that's kind of your name, starting to navigate your way into or out of a life event, whether expected or not expected. So, there'll be some circumstances like your children leaving home, you expect that stuff. Yeah. Some stuff comes as a complete curveball to you and knocks you right between the eyes. What would you say is step one when you're thinking about, that kind of situation?
Yeah, I mean, I always think you can't deal with what's happening outside until you start to feel better about yourself and you're looking after yourself. So step one for me is always, very rarely do you have to make a decision in that moment. So just take some time, breathe, be calm, have a drink of water, have a walk, think it through. You don't have to react in that moment. Take time to respond in a considered way, particularly if it's a shock.
Yes.
Look after yourself. So often when things happen and bad things happen in our lives, they've happened to me as well. I lost my brother very suddenly. We forget to look after ourselves because we're so wrapped up in what's happened and we're in a state of shock. And so the key thing, I think, initially is to look after yourself and take care of yourself, because unless you're in that position and you're doing that, you're going to run out of energy and strength quite quickly.
Yeah.
So all the things around breathing deeply, trying to be present, meditating, they're all great tools to help you stay strong during periods of really difficult change. And then don't make rash decisions. Take time to think over, talk to people, talk to your friends, ask them for guidance. Also ask yourself what you would tell a friend to do in this situation.
That's always a brilliant one.
Yeah, because quite often we can be really hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll say things to ourselves in our heads or sometimes out loud that we would never say to another person, and certainly not to a person we cared about. We're much more empathetic to others than we are to ourselves. So take time and listen to yourself and think, is that real? Am I being kind to myself at this difficult time? We can be really hard on ourselves and we can expect ourselves to do really tough things easily, and that's difficult, isn't it? And then we beat ourselves up when we don't manage those high expectations. So look after yourself, be kind to yourself, get support. If you need it, go to your doctor, talk to your friends, talk to your partner, just make sure that someone else is looking out for you as well, because we sometimes don't see that we're not looking after ourselves as well, and we need someone else to tell us that. So talk to the people who love you and care for you.
I think that we also are quite, I want to use the word stubborn, but also we think that it's our shit and we should look after it and we should sort it. And particularly, I would imagine, I'm a mum, but particularly when it comes out of the other end of being a mum, everybody does it. Why are you feeling like this? And this is what you always knew would happen. And my two are 10 and almost 8, But when you think how quickly 10 years has gone, so I only had this tiny little baby yesterday, and now he's 10. The next 10 years is probably going to go just as quickly, if not quicker. And you don't expect that, but I think that often we think that this has to be our shit, we have to deal with it. But we're trying not to be on that.
Yeah. Do you know what? We all go through it, and time does pass really fast. I mean, ridiculously fast. That's the thing. I think the thing is, it touches us all. So when you talk to other people, you realise that they may not feel exactly the same as you, but they've been through something similar. Or, you know, sometimes if you talk to your friends about it, you'll realise that although you don't feel the same about it, you can laugh about what you felt, and they'll share what they felt, and it might not be the same, but it's equally sort of get it out. It's all about what that means for us in the end, you know. So quite often the letting go is about letting go of who we are. So if your sense of identity has been wrapped up in being mummy, you know, and that's a big part of your persona, and suddenly your baby is going to be 200 miles away, you're going to feel different about it, but you are still mummy. And believe you me, they will still be in contact, and you will still be required to do things, post things, answer phone calls. You know, the sink will get blocked. You know, all those sorts of things. Oh, Mum, we've got a mouse in the house. You know, well, hang on a minute, you live 200 miles away. What am I meant to do about it? I'm not jumping in the car and going to drive 200 miles to get rid of a mouse for you. You know, you are still needed and loved. It's just you miss that daily contact, and you miss that reassurance that that they're okay, that you got when they were coming in the house every day. But actually it can be quite liberating. You know, personally I found it quite liberating in some ways, because once I got used to it, you know, then it's like, okay, well, things are different now, and you know, there's an opportunity to re-energize your relationships, you know, with your friends as well as with your partner, to do things together. We started to travel more together. It's a bit scary at first, you know, the first holiday, just us two going off, I was like, well, this is make or break, boy. You know,
we'll either like it or we won't.
I know, if we don't, we were off to America, and we were going to hire a car and drive, you know, sort of 1,000 miles, and I was like, bloody hell, we're going to be cooped up just the two of us in a car. This could be the end of something that was meant to be quite good. But, you know, it brings opportunities for different things. And that's, you know, so you will have a sense of...
In essence, isn't it? It's opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about changing your perspective and your mindset so that you can see it as opportunity. So that could be taking up new hobbies, it could be traveling, it could be spending more time with your girlfriends, you know, it can be all sorts of different things. But yeah, it's about finding things that gap and fulfill you, but knowing that that's not gone away forever. It's just moving into a different stage.
And I know that in our Rockstar Summit, you are joining us.
I am next week.
If you're watching it live, or if you are watching it or listening to it before the end of August, then that will be available to sign up for. What I'm going to do is, at the end of the call, I'm going to put a sneaky link in, so if anybody is watching and does want to get onto your class sooner rather than later, they can sneak in straight away. So I will pop a link at the end. But we're talking about the 7 C's of midlife work.
Yeah.
Would you like to let us know a little bit more about that?
Okay, so I love the concept of 7 C's. I keep thinking of 7 C's of rye. It keeps coming into my brain. I won't sing because I'm bad. But you know, that's what sort of kept rattling around my brain. So, but actually, it's not C's as in water and oceans and those beautiful things. It's C's as in the letter C. And I'm focusing on work, and that can be whether it's your business or you're employed by someone else. It's how to be successful at work. through 7 C's. So it's 7 words beginning with C, and we're talking things like clarity and communication. You know, so what things do you need to do to help you be successful during this stage of your life? So it's a little masterclass that I've put there, and there's a little, I've called it a trip handbook that you can download, which actually has the information from that I talk you through on the slides, and some little exercises for you to do as you work your way through. So thinking about which ones do you need to focus on a bit more in order to be more successful.
So tell me,
for you,
oh, sorry.
I was about to say, maybe for you it's about communication. So it could be that you think, oh, well, actually, you know, I know what I want to happen, but I'm not that great at always remembering to take the other person on the journey with me and to lay it out for them step by step and to make sure that they fully understand. You know, so because I've been thinking about it for such a long time and I'm so clear in my head, I sort of give the end point to the other person and they end up thinking, okay, I think I know what I need to do, but actually I don't. And so they do their best because people are generally well-intentioned. And then you look at it and you think, oh, that's not what I wanted. So you end up in that difficult position of having to ask them to do it again. So it's about taking it in the first position and saying, okay, how do I explain this clearly to the other person so they know what they want? And that, of course, impacts not just in your work, but in any relationship as well, you know, whatever you're doing. If I think about the most common complaint I hear in relationships, work or personal relationships, is that people don't feel understood or don't feel listened to or don't feel heard, and it all boils down to that little word, communication. And you know, people finding it difficult to do, and quite often it's because we've done so much of it in our head and not actually allowed it to come out of our mouth or out of our pen to help people understand where we're going. You know, so all that processing's gone on, and then it seems so obvious to us because we've spent all that time thinking about it, but we don't take up, you know, other people on that journey with us.
So when you're looking at, you know, your working position, and like you say, whether that be business, whether that be a job, whatever that might be, what things are you considering when, differently, I suppose, when you are in that stage of midlife, when you are in that, I suppose, making good decisions kind of stage? Because when you're in your 20s, you can kind of wing it a little bit more, can't you? Because you don't feel as responsible and you feel completely invincible most of the time when you're at that age. But as you grow older, I think that you naturally become more fearful. I think that you naturally become a little bit more thoughtful. So what are the differences in kind of your masterclass in navigating through change, where you're taking us to other things?
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because one of the key things, so I did a lot of work when I was in the corporate world on what we call emotional intelligence, which is around how you use emotional information to make decisions, to conduct your life. And one of the key things about emotional intelligence was that it grows as you age. So generally, you know, that shouldn't be a great surprise to us if you think about it. Most of us have experiences as we go through life, and if it goes really well, we think, oh, that was great, I'll do that next time. And if it doesn't go really well, hopefully we take a few minutes to reflect on what happened and think, okay, that didn't work out quite how I wanted it to. Next time I'll try something different. I'll do something different. I'll, you know, try this or I'll do that. So we learn from those. So when you are midlife, you have a certain level of emotional intelligence that is perhaps greater than many individuals who are, you know, at the earlier stages in their careers. And so a lot of the communication that needs to happen is around how do we help others from our position of wisdom almost? How do we share some of that? And if I think about a lot of the work that I do with my clients, a number of them are thinking around wanting to give back. So the whole thing around mentoring and helping others, developing younger people, bringing on, apprentices or millennials, graduates into the organisation and sharing knowledge, which is fantastic. But it's how do you do that without becoming, I'm going to say, the old fart in the office that actually nobody wants to listen to? Because although they've got loads of knowledge and stuff, they drone on about stories that people don't necessarily want to hear or don't feel relevant anymore. So that's where the sort of clarity element comes in. So being very clear about what your message is and what you want to say, and being able to be succinct in what you need to do is really important and can become a bit of an issue for individuals, I think.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely. So as you are working with people, what kind of outcomes are they seeking generally? I think a lot of it is probably a word that you just said, but I'll let you go with it.
Yeah, so their outcomes can be really different depending on the individual. There's no sort of set one outcome. So a number of the people that I work with, I'm very lucky. I have lovely clients. My clients tend to be really nice people. So quite often they're people pleasers. They like to be helpful. They like to help other people. They can struggle with saying no. They can struggle with being direct enough. So sometimes we're working on their communication skills. We're working on helping them feel more confident with saying no, with asking directly for what they want. So those can be key things. With some individuals, it's around the should I stay, should I go type decisions, with their careers. Or if they're facing redundancy, should I apply for the same again? So look for the same job in another organisation, or actually, I've got this really secret desire that I've not talked to anybody about before now to run this type of business, and if I don't do it now, I might never do it. So is that feasible? What might that look like? So thinking through all their options really is quite key. With some individuals, it's small business types. They can be growing their business and taking on people for the first time, and then having that change of being the only person who knows about the business to trying to relinquish some of that control to others, and then help them with the sort of people management part of that, which can be quite difficult. If it's your baby and you've grown it and it's been great and successful and you've got it to that point, and then suddenly you're like, I need more help and I'm going to get a member of staff in, or I'm going to outsource something, and then like, oh my God, that means releasing control and communicating clearly what I want, yes. And managing expectations. So it's all around that, and planning, not only your own workload, but maybe somebody else's, so that it dovetails in nicely. So yeah, all those types of things can be the sorts of conversations we end up having. It really is client-led. With one client recently, it's been around conflict. So we started off with him talking about his assertion, or his difficulty in saying no, or dealing with people who were very forceful. Hugely successful individual, director of a business, but in the room with someone being really forceful, sort of tends to retreat into his shell a little bit, sit there quietly, hope it will go away. And so we started looking at how he handles conflict and what his conflict style is, and then how he can adapt to be more comfortable when there's conflict in the room, and how he can identify other people's conflict handling styles so that he can know where they're coming from and perhaps know how to deal with that better without changing who he is, so still being authentic to himself, but changing his style. So all those types of things can be things that we work on, but it really is, there's no set program for my one-to-one clients. It really is led by what they need at that point, and what's going to give them best value, I think, and the most support.
And looking at clarity,
and building their confidence that they can handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would anybody like to ask Suzanne any questions? If you're on the line now live, then please put your questions in. If you are watching the replay, then you are equally welcome to put your questions in here, and I'm sure Suzanne will come back across at some point and answer any questions that are there. I'll make sure you get tagged if anybody's asking anything after the live event, so that you can jump back in and answer anything that comes up. But if you are watching live, then this is your opportunity to ask anything that you would like to ask. So we're here, and you can jump on in. Everybody, in a minute. So what I've done is I've popped a little link into your masterclass that's live officially from next week. But if you're watching us now, grab hold of, and also your How to Rock Midlife ebook. Do you want to just mention a little bit about that while we wait for any questions? There it is.
There it is. Here it is, guys. It's your guide to rocking your midlife, or how to rock your midlife. And I think it's amazing. It's absolutely beautiful to look at. There's lovely pages like this, which is top tips for success at work, or top tips for managing stress. So lots of sections. We talk about work, and that can be your business or career. We talk obviously about stress. We talk about health and menopause and cover a whole gamut of subjects. There's about 30 pages in it. And what I love about it is also it's not just me. So some of the other wonderful rock stars have contributed as well. So there's top tips from experts on, managing your menopause and managing your mindset and style. There's a tip on home decor for the empty nesters. There's a tip on what to wear to make you feel fabulous. There's some great information in there. It's lovely, and people are loving it. Getting some really good feedback as well. So
get your hands on it. Absolutely, get your hands on it.
Yeah, it's free. It's in there.
Brilliant. I will. As I say, it's in the comments if you want to come and grab hold of it, and you can get your hands on that right now. So I don't think we've got any questions live. I think we've covered quite a lot there. So thank you so much for your time, Suzanne. It was lovely, lovely, lovely to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Good. The replay is available if you want to watch the replay. I'll also, you might be sat listening to this as a podcast now, so if you are, you're equally as welcome. And you'll find information about how to get a hold of Suzanne in the description. So thank you for your time, and it was lovely to have you. And speak to everybody really soon. Bye.
Thank you everybody who watched. Bye.